All right, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining Prolific's webinar today to discuss the magic of data on OpenShift. Before I turn this over to our speakers that we have lined up for you today, I would like to remind everyone that at the bottom of your screen, there is a Q&A section to raise your question. We encourage you to use this throughout the presentation today. We will be hosting a Q&A at the end of the webinar, so please go ahead and send those questions in beforehand as they come up. Without further ado, I'll be passing this over to our Chief Technology Officer, Greg Hutchinson. Greg?
Thanks, Jennifer, and hello, everyone. So I'll start off by briefly introducing today's topic as well as the fantastic speakers we have lined up for you. So let's get started. We framed today's topic with magic, and although the gentleman shown on your screen may look like a magician, he is not. He's the famous science fiction writer Arthur C. Clarke, who left us with a rather magical quote that I quite like and that I'm sure you will have heard before. Any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. Now, the reason this is relevant is that we live in a day and age where there are technologies in abundance that appear to achieve almost magical feats. Magic takes people by surprise. But is there really such a thing as magic? Well, we all know the answer is no, at least not any more than as an illusion. But what allows magicians to pull off what seems like the impossible is their skill, the hours of preparation, and carefully crafted tools. Now, data science is a practice that seems to have a special magical element. Voila, the data scientist produces another incredible insight. But there's nothing supernatural about it. The illusion is achieved through their skill and know-how and the data science wizardry, as it were, coupled with the tools they bring to bear. And our speakers today are going to demonstrate this and give you an idea of what you can achieve. So let's take a peek behind the curtains to see how this wizardry is achieved. There we have one integrated solution with two components, IBM's Cloud Pak for Data and Red Hat's OpenShift platform, combined into a single powerful value proposition. Now, as a data scientist, you will care mostly about the data science tooling, and that comes in the form of IBM's Cloud Pak for Data. So that's one of a series of software solution packs that IBM has delivered, each one delivering a focused set of capabilities to a specific audience in cloud-native form. And that means you can use it on any cloud platform, either one of the major public clouds or on-premise in your data center. So to the first point on that slide, Cloud Pak for Data targets the data scientist and provides capabilities for collecting, organizing, and analyzing your data to allow you to deliver magical insights for your business and customers. And today's demo will show you this tooling in action. The second point, it includes AI development tooling and runtime services that combine with your data to achieve new insights, enabling you to offer new business capabilities. And again, today's demo will illustrate an example capability that we've achieved through this tooling. To the third point, all of this is packaged up in a data ops platform that can be provisioned on the Red Hat OpenShift platform with very little effort, almost at the touch of a button. So turning to OpenShift, it's the leading platform as a service solution from the team at Red Hat, built around the magical simplicity of Docker and Kubernetes. Docker providing the standard container model for packaging up and running your workloads, which is literally the container that the development teams package up their workload into and hand over to the operations teams. And then moving to the second point, Kubernetes, allowing you to run and manage these workloads at scale. And the beauty of Kubernetes is how it simplifies the job required of the operations team. It does so by decoupling the concerns of running all of the multiple components that make up your applications from all of the underlying concerns around where the component runs, how they connect to each other, where they get their resources from, and how to return the application to good service if a single component fails. In addition, Kubernetes allows you to choose the location that makes sense and works best for any particular workload, which again is either on-premise in your data center or in any of today's public clouds. And all of this with a common model that gives you flexibility, simplicity, and security. The third point I'd like to share in OpenShift is how it allows a mode of delivery where you're able to regularly delight your customers with updates to their applications. So OpenShift runs your applications as a set of microservices, each delivered easily and reliably using automated pipelines that include Red Hat's Ansible products. These pipelines have quality checks built in to ensure successful production deploy, and in addition, techniques like the Canary release can be easily implemented to limit the impact of any unlikely production issue. So in short, all this adds up to shorter release cycles, much improved release quality, and far reduced risk of production outages, which again means faster ROI that can have an almost magical effect on the bottom line of your business. Finally, to the joint point 4, applicable to both products, I want to call out Red Hat's approach that has really made them stand out from the crowd, which has taken the best of open source, contributing to its success, and embedding it into tried and tested enterprise-grade solutions. And that thinking has been applied by both IBM and Red Hat to produce the solution we'll see today. So now to all those points, our 2 speakers will demonstrate how you can achieve magical results. So before we jump into the demo, just a few words on our company. Prolifics is a consulting company with one simple mission: to take our customers' vision for the solutions they need to the point where those solutions are delivered and generating value, and we generate this value faster. So why Prolifics? With over 40 years of experience, we're uniquely able to deliver with a technical vision spanning both applications, data, platform, and cloud, and across the entire delivery lifecycle, bringing to bear the best of IBM and Red Hat through our deep partnerships with those 2 companies, and all of that possible as one single partner to you, Prolifics. So the last words from me as I hand over to our speakers is to say we are a global company, and as a testament to that, I will quickly mention that our first speaker, Michael, is joining us from Chicago. Our second speaker, Sandeep, is joining us from Dallas, and I've had the pleasure of speaking to you for the last few minutes from Cape Town, South Africa. So without further ado, I will hand over to Dr. Michael Gonzalez as he helps you understand what can be achieved with Cloud Pak for Data. Over to you, Mike.
Thank you, Greg. So we all know the situation that we're currently facing across all global enterprises. It's a question of, do we know the data, do we have access to the data, and do we have the skills and capabilities to actually glean insight from that data? There's a couple of current metrics that are published by renowned institutions like MIT Sloan that suggest that most organizations don't understand the data that is required for AI and don't understand whether or not this data is accessible, or if it's trusted, or if it's even has the ability to be analyzed. And the curious point is that although there's all these challenges with data, they still view AI as a strategic opportunity. They still view the need for advanced analytics, even though we have challenges of getting access to our data. And to illustrate this point, we're going to emphasize a use case of sentiment analysis. Now, this is a relatively advanced type of analysis, but many organizations will publish like customer satisfaction surveys, and they put it out on the website, and they provide a lot of opportunity for customers to share their experience. And much of this shared experience is done so in free-form text. And as you can see here, there's a fairly large paragraph that where a customer is really trying to share their experience. Sometimes it's a good experience. Many times it's not necessarily. It's more of a negative type of a sentiment. The challenge, of course, is that if you do put all of this effort into gathering customer satisfaction and allowing customers to communicate to you, how do you actually glean insight from it? And in this particular use case, it's more than just text mining. It's more than just counting words. We're really trying to understand what the sentiment is and the emotions attached to that sentiment. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you how we gleaned insight from exactly that type of scenario. And to give you a simple example of some of the insight, we found that as the day progresses, sentiment becomes more negative and emotions evolve. So during the early part of the day, customers are more happy with the type of services that they're being provided. As the day progresses, they become more neutral. As you go from afternoon into evening, the customers seem to be expressing more of a sadness, and then, of course, it goes into late night, and there's emotions that are being shared that are more angry. And when you take a look at this type of insight, you couple it with other metrics. As an example, over 50% of the surveys we found in this sample data set is that they convey sadness. So they're not necessarily angry, they're not happy, obviously, but they're just sad that they didn't get their expectations met by the organization. And of course, there are those who share a more aggressive type of emotion that we need to analyze. Now, what would be the benefit of all of this insight? Well, to improve, for instance, operations. A simple example of that is that maybe we have new trainees working for our customer or working for our customers, and we train them during the earlier hours of the day, so early morning, early afternoon, and we use our more seasoned employees to deal with the evening and nighttime crowds. So to get that type of insight, we're going to take you through what we describe as a 5-step fast start data science effort. We'll show you the IBM Cloud Pack, the selection of different resources that we want to use. We'll establish a project. We'll upload assets. We'll create a Jupyter Notebook with Python 3.6 and integrate with the natural language understanding service. And then we'll use SPSS Modeler to interpret or try to explore the results from that NLU effort. So I'm going to go ahead and execute a demo here. Now, I've pre-recorded this just so that we avoid any type of issues with connectivity. So here I've logged into my IBM Cloud environment, and I have a subscription, so I'm just going to simply launch my subscription. And what IBM will come back with is a dashboard, and that dashboard describes basically the services, the resources that I have identified that I need for my projects. In this case, Foundry service. I have 4 other Watson-related services, and then by default, I have 1 storage service. So I'm going to start with the Watson services. I'm just going to open this up a bit. And here I have a resource list, and it identifies, again, those services that I'm subscribing to. So in this case, under our Watson, we have the knowledge language, we have natural language understanding, we have Watson machine learning, and Watson Studio. Under the Cloud Foundry services, I have subscribed to a DB2 warehouse. Now, I'm going to select this, and IBM gives us an opportunity to manage our DB2 warehouse, also to provide credentials and connections for any projects that we might have. So I'm just going to simply open the console, and here we are able to manage our DB2 warehouse. This is where you would establish schemas. We have 1 schema already out there. You would assign tables to that. In our case, we have 2. I'm going to specifically leverage the NLU table. And here's a physical table with the columns that I've already declared and the data types of those columns. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and let's take a look at the other type of services that we could access in our project. So let's go all the way back. Now these are the 4 that I selected for services plus the Foundry service. But if we go to the catalog, you're going to find that there's a broad array of technology that's made available to me. So I can pick and choose what technology I need for my data science laboratory. You know, so there's computing type of services, containers, artificial intelligence, broad array, there's analytics, databases, developer tools. So there's a robust library of services that we can actually include in any of our solutions. So I'm going to log into our IBM Watson Studio. And this is where I would establish projects and include those projects in catalogs. So in this case, I already have a project that's defined. It's called satisfaction, so I'm going to click on that. And what's opened up is basically my dashboard for my satisfaction project. And in this project, I'm using 4 different assets, or what are described as assets. So I have a couple of data assets, a Excel spreadsheet, DB2 connection. I have a notebook that I'm using, and a modeler flow. So we're going to go through each one of these pieces. So from the data assets, I've uploaded an Excel spreadsheet called Survey Short, so we'll open that up. And here it's just, CloudPack is just showing you what the surveys file has in it, and there's several different free-form text. The one we're going to be analyzing today is the general memo, and that cell right there has that giant paragraph that I showed you in the slides. So general memo is what we're going to be analyzing. Go back to my projects. The other data asset that I have is DB2 NLU. Now that's just a connection to my DB2 warehouse. Now this connection is authorizing me in this project, the satisfaction project, to actually leverage the DB2 warehouse. So our results are actually going to be fed into this particular warehouse. So the Jupyter Notebook I have established is using Python 3.6. So we're just going to go into that, and I'm just going to show you some pieces that are relevant to this notebook. First of all, it's Python, so any library that you're accustomed to use, you can import it using simple pip. And there's specific libraries that are important, like Project Lib that CloudPack provides. There's obviously Watson libraries available to us, and then any connectivity libraries that we have for the DB2 databases. To give you an example of some of this, for instance, if I want to get an asset, I'm using Project Lib, I create an object, I just simply have to say get file. I don't have to worry about where it is. And here's my surveys short, my Excel spreadsheet. The services, I simply need to have the credentials. I pass those credentials on so that I'm allowed to use the NLU service. And here's a simple line for NLU when I'm requesting what I want NLU to do for us. So in this particular case, I'm asking NLU to find no more than 2 keywords or phrases per comment. But not only the words or phrases, but I want to know what the sentiment is. Is it positive? Is it negative? And moreover, for each one of those sentiments, I want to know what is the probability of any one of these 5 emotions are being expressed. That's sadness, joy, fear, disgust, anger. So that's quite a lot of natural language understanding. And when we get the results back from NLU, we simply create our insert statement and we insert it into our DB2 warehouse, specifically in our NLU table that I showed you earlier. So essentially, there's anything you need to do with, anything that you want to do with Python, you can certainly do within the CloudPack solution. So let's go back to our satisfaction project. So I just want to briefly summarize what we've just covered. So with these 3 assets, I've uploaded the survey short, the Excel spreadsheet with my raw data. I've used the Jupyter Notebook to actually process that raw data through natural language understanding. I've taken the output from NLU and I've inserted it into my DB2 warehouse. So essentially all that's left now is to access my DB2 warehouse and analyze the results of the NLU. And for that, I'm going to use SPSS. So I'm going to select that. So this is a fairly large, but a typical type of SPSS stream where you're doing date conversions, you're taking continuous values and converting them to categorical values. And as you can see, it's a relatively large stream. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to zoom in specifically so that we can look at the data sources that we're using. So here are a couple of nodes that that are important to our stream. The first data asset that we're using is the raw data that we just uploaded, right? So here's survey short, it's just the Excel spreadsheet. The other one is the DB2 results, that's storing the NLU results. So I'm just going to open this up so that you can get a sense of how I connect to it. So I'm going to change the data asset. I have data assets and connections. Under data assets, I have my Excel spreadsheet. Under connections, I have my database. Now, this could be any number of connections. It just happens to be DB2 Warehouse right now. Here's my schema. Here are the two tables that you've seen before. I'm going to select NLU, click OK. And if I want custom names, I just annotation, I click and save. And now my entire stream is accessing whatever data I have up in the Cloud Pak. Now, just to show you that this is the string for our results, we'll go all the way down to the bottom here. I'll run the emotions histogram. I'll just simply run it. It executes. On the right-hand side, it'll display the output. I just simply have to open that output. And as you can see, this is the same histogram that we just showed before. So let's go back to SPSS. A couple of important points. The SPSS flow can be developed here in Cloud Pak, or if you have implementations of SPSS across your enterprise, you simply just import those SPSS streams. And you have a full complement of records operations, field operations, everything that you're accustomed to using in SPSS is available here on Model Flows. And that includes all of the mining algorithms that you may be used to implementing in your data science experiences. So let's go back to our project. Now, in this particular sentiment analysis, I've used 4 assets. I've used the data upload, I've used DB2, I've used the notebooks, and I've used SPSS. But there's a broad array of other assets I can actually include in my particular project. Those assets are dependent on which resources you've chosen to use. And so, in short, you have a relatively easy way of pulling all of this information together in Cloud Pak. So let's go back to our slides now. And I'm going to pass this over to Sudeep, who's the practice head for hybrid cloud integration and platforms. And Sudeep, I will launch your video.
Thank you, Mike. I think this is a nice segue into the next video demo that we're going to see about how we're going to deploy these AI workloads on OpenShift through IBM Cloud Pak for Data. So what you're seeing on the screen is a standard OpenShift implementation, which has a 3-node master node cluster and worker nodes. What you're seeing here is the languages which are out of the box from OpenShift, where you can pick and choose the type of language or the integration services like Camel or Fuse or JBoss, and you can start to deploy those containers on OpenShift. And you also have process automation, where you can build process automation workflows or out-of-the-box Red Hat's analytics and integrate that with your CI/CD DevOps using Jenkins. On your right, what you're seeing here is the Zen project. We have implemented Cloud Pak for Data using the Zen project that we have imported into OpenShift. So on your left, what you see is the various applications that have been deployed and the pods that have been created. Part of the Zen project is the Cloud Pak for Data. As you navigate through the application and the pod dashboard within a single pane of view, what you get is a visibility into pods that are running for Cloud Pak for Data. And OpenShift provides the visibility for you to view the pod information that you can monitor and that you can build and deploy and scale pods that are required to meet your market demands. And you can also view the services that are assigned that are between these applications which are deployed within the pods that are deployed, so that you can see the interconnection of how the services work together. The other view, what you're seeing here is the storage view about the applications which are deployed and which data store it is being configured to. The OpenShift console also gives you the ability to dive into monitoring of these workloads, where the monitoring console provides a visibility into various pods and the ability to deep dive into each pod details. For example, its environment details, its metrics details, and logs. And you have the ability to change these metrics either from these data, either from the console here or from the CI/CD chain pipeline, where you have the ability to either stop these workloads or start these workloads and scale these pods based on the market needs. This also gives a view about monitoring. If you have access to pods, you can directly log into the pods, or you can view logging from the monitoring web console of how you view the pods logs. The view the web console, what you're seeing here is the Cloud Pak for Data web console, which provides different AI and data related services based on different personas, like what you see on the left, which is the collect. And these dashboards give the ability to create various dashboards for you to view the data, which Mike has shown you in the previous video. What you see here is a collection of different projects where different personas can collaborate and work together. And the platform provides you access to these open source and languages where you can build these machine learning models. The platform also gives you the ability to deploy and create these deployment models. And each of these models can generate the APIs that you can leverage, or you can infuse that APIs to build more of the market demanding AI solutions. So what we talk about here is there is no good AI without good information architecture. So it all starts with the data, where data is key to digital transformation. Data is key for digital modernization. As we identify opportunities for data modernization and to be the leader and be able to monetize the data, so you can create additional revenue streams, which are very attractive. So within an industry, what you're seeing is there are various different solutions for big data and AI, and the landscape is pretty huge. And I'm sure most of you have seen hundreds of these products, and at times working with the right tool and the right time can often be difficult and have a large runway to get the solution up and running. So you need to be able to provision these servers, obtain licenses, work with various parts of your organization to get things to a state where the end users can start to unlock the potential of your organization data. So enterprise often have to decide around, do they really want to invest in building their own solution, or they buy a solution that can be agnostic of the place of the AI journey to be able to adopt and build an intellectual capital with the platform they already have. So IBM has created a differentiator that provides end-to-end data lifecycle from the time the data enters to the time the data life ends. So IBM Cloud Pak for Data is a multi-cloud data and an AI platform designed to deliver information architecture for artificial intelligence. Cloud Pak for Data provides services to collect, organize, analyze the data, and architect in a modular way to provide the flexibility to scale and deploy on OpenShift that you've seen in the previous two demos. So OpenShift is a platform which is a hybrid cloud Kubernetes offering, which is hosted on Red Hat Enterprise Linux operating systems, providing various different development services that you're seeing, like languages or integration services, logging and metric services, which are which are out-of-the-box features which are built for DevOps capabilities, allowing IT users and developers to monitor, build, and deploy services faster. So the Cloud Pak can be run anywhere because they are pre-scanned for vulnerability, and they're scalable and they're resilient. So getting a single install pack allows you to run your AI workloads anywhere, and these are certified images from IBM. So what you get away from an end user is people like data scientists and business power users to spin up cloud-native workloads to really make an impact quicker, to provide them with the right tools that they need to gain better data and event-driven insights. To bring this intellectual capital to the customers, IBM has built a concept on AI ladder maturity steps, where we have a collection of steps on where to start to analyze the data. Now that we have organized the data, how do we infuse the data into processes and algorithms assisting with reasonings and learnings across, allowing organizations to put the AI solutions to use to get competitive edge. While we go through this AI ladder, it's involving multiple personas to connect, govern, to create deployments, and organize machine learning models, predictive models, and prescriptive models from a single pane of glass, which is very powerful, which brings all of these personas together in a collaborative view to be able to communicate and share and publish reasons why a specific model is designed a specific way. So what does it really mean for a data engineer persona? So Cloud Pak for Data allows to collect relevant data and make it simple and accessible with integration and refinements. What does it mean for a data scientist persona? Cloud Pak for Data allows to organize data so it can be trusted with analysis and modeling. What does it mean for a data analytics persona? Cloud Pak for Data provides virtualized data console view, which gives the ability to connect data irrespective of where it's been hosted. It could be hosted on multiple different endpoints, could be on-prem cloud, but providing the ability to map and edit these and visualize the changes is a quick go-to-market offering. So what does it mean for business users? Holistically, business users can find these data relevant to their business needs using enterprise-wide natural language searches, features, and visually understand the relationship between the data that they are loading, allowing application developers to infuse machine learning and build APIs that they can share between the developer community.
Well, thank you so much, Sandeep.
Okay, great.
Thank you. Well, thanks so much, Sandeep and Michael, for that excellent session. So what now? You've heard us talk, and we've shown you some of the magical results that can be achieved. So I'm going to stick with the magic theme and ask, how do you pull your own rabbit out of the hat? So before we move to take questions, I want to share with you 3 ways we can help you get started. Firstly, if you're just getting started with analytics, we would ask you to please take a look at our analytics maturity assessment, and that will help you understand where and how to get started on your journey. If you are already an OpenShift customer, we have a jumpstart offering that will get you up and running productively with Cloud Pak for Data. And if you really can't wait to get your hands on, we can set you up with an online demo hosted by our friends at IBM. And lastly, if you would like to better understand how all of this can add value to your own context and your business and your environment, please let us know. We'll sign you up for a discovery call and then understand the results. We'll help you understand the results that you could achieve with the solution. So for those and more ways that we can help, please reach out to us. You can email us at solutions@prolifics.com, and we will certainly set you up with some of those follow-ups. So I will close by thanking each and every one of you for taking the time out of your day to be with us, and we will now move to taking your questions.
Thanks, Greg. As mentioned, we will be conducting a Q&A session now, so please make sure any questions that you have are entered into the Q&A section at the bottom of your screen, so those can be addressed by our speakers. All right, so on to our first question. So what type of data sources can I include in my AI models? Mike, I think this is a question for you.
Sure. So I got without trying to be coy, it really, there is no real limit to the type of data that you can incorporate into the Cloud Pak solution. It can be structured, unstructured. It can be a normalized database. It can be a star scheme. None of that really. It could be a data lake. And frankly, it doesn't even have to reside in a DB2 environment sitting up in the cloud. IBM has done a great job of this virtualization of data. So if you have large data sets sitting somewhere in your enterprise, you simply just need to connect up to those data sources so you're accessing the data where it lives.
Okay, thank you, Mike. All right, so I think this one's for Sandeep. So if I wanted to use the prediction you showed in my application, how do I go about integrating that?
So here's two broad stroke buckets where the insights can be leveraged from an integration standpoint, batch and real time. For real time, you could create a API layer using something like Data Power Gateway or API Connect Gateway, and or else the out of the box 3-scale gateway from Red Hat as well. From that, downstream microservices and UI apps and other systems of engagement can leverage these insights in real time to create better, compelling experiences.
Okay, thanks, Sandeep. All right, I think this one's for you, Mike, as well. So are all of the components you showed in the demo part of the Cloud Pak, or are there any components you had to add in yourself that are not part of the overall solution?
No, all of the components that I used are in Cloud Pak, and frankly, I used, I don't know, percentage-wise, maybe 2% of what's available in Cloud Pak.
Okay. All right, you're popular today, Mike. All right, does the solution offer anything for the business folks that want to do reporting on my data and AI insights?
Sure. So a big component that we didn't show is Cognos. So if I do all of this analysis and I populate my data warehouse up in Cloud Pak, my Cognos solution can simply just access that, and you can build some fairly sophisticated dashboards so all of your executives and business consumers can readily get access to the metrics that they need. And you can go beyond that as well. Once we've populated that data up in Cloud Pak, you certainly can use Cognos, but then you could also use maybe your own BI tool of choice, Tableau or whatever other flavor of BI tool that you choose to use.
All right, thanks, Mike. All right, and the next one's for Greg. How easy is it to get started with this solution that you guys just presented?
So absolutely, I'd say that is, one of the strengths of the solution is the whole point is to make it easy for folks to get up and running and live. So again, the beauty of OpenShift is we're using Kubernetes, and Kubernetes at the kind of click of a few buttons will, from your catalog, go and spin up all the software you need in Cloud Pak for data in your cluster. And there's no more lead time where somebody has to go and wrangle for infrastructure and servers to go and get things set up and then get various folks from the operations team involved in installing various bits of software required to get this up and running. I mean, we all know how long those lead times can be. Now that we've got this beautiful OpenShift environment where we've got this cluster, with the click of a few buttons, all the software is up and running as pods and instantly available to get value from.
Great. Thanks, Greg. Very insightful.
And I will just add to that answer that it's not only the one-time benefit of getting up and running quickly, but it's also the benefit of making sure that you've got a good, robust system that is up and running when you need it. So, again, Kubernetes and OpenShift helps there to make sure your system's up and running live whenever you need it.
All right, thanks, Greg. All right, if there's any other questions that you guys have, please submit those to solutions@prolifics.com, and we'll make sure those are addressed. So thank you guys for attending today's session. There will be a replay that is sent to everyone that has attended, so you can go back and listen to anything that you may have missed. There will also be a webcast posted on our website as well. I'd like to thank our speakers for the great presentation today on the art of the possible with data on OpenShift. And thank you again. I hope everyone has a good rest of your day.